Hey guys, and welcome to quiz review day. So, just an overview of the quiz. It will be on graphing, substitution, and elimination. Okay, so those are the types of problems we are going to be doing during this quiz review. So let's go ahead and get started. So, the first one says solve by graphing. So, we are going to graph these two lines. Let's graph the first one. So, we start at positive 4. And then our slope is up 8 and to the right 3, but obviously we can't go up 8, so instead we have to go down 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and to the right, or sorry, to the left, 1, 2, 3. And then we can go ahead and draw our line. Alright, and then we can graph our second line, starting down at negative 2 and then going up 2 to the right 3. Now if you notice, when we go up 2 and to the right 3, it takes us away from this line. So instead we want to go in the opposite direction of down 2 and to the right 3, which gives us our intersection. Don't forget, you still have to graph a line through the points even after you find your intersection, because it does say solve by graphing. Alright, and then state your coordinate point of negative 3, negative 4, because remember, we go to the left 3 and down 4. So that is our coordinate point. Alright, and those are easy points to get. So let's look at number 2. And we start down at negative 4, and we go up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2, up 1, can't go any further, down 1 to the left 2. And graph your line. Okay. And then for our second line, we start at positive 4, and we go down 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 2, and down 3, to the right 2. And we have that point of intersection, so we can draw our line. And our point of intersection is positive 4, negative 2. Alrighty, let's go on to number 3. So number 3 is a little bit different, because now they are not in slope-intercept form, so we have to make them. So we have 2y, plus x equals 6. I just changed it around, that's my bad, wasn't paying attention. And we are going to subtract x from both sides to get 2y equals 6 minus x. And then we are going to divide by 2. So y is going to equal 3 minus 1/2 x. So we can go ahead and graph that. So we start at 3, and then we go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, down 1, okay? Then do the opposite, so up 1 to the left 2, up 1 to the left 2. And we can graph that line. I'm going through the graphing ones kind of quickly because we've been doing this for a while, but you are welcome to watch this video as many times as you need if I'm going too fast for you. Alright, so now we have 3x minus 2y equals 2. So 3x minus 2y equals 2. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides to get negative 2y equals 2 minus 3x, and then divide by negative 2. Alright, so then we get y equals negative 1 plus 3 over 2x. So we start down at negative 1, and then we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 2. And as soon as we have our point of intersection, we can just go ahead and draw a line through our points. Whoops. And then our point of intersection is 2, 2. right, and last one for graphing. This one is actually a little bit easier. So we have x plus y equals -1. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides to get y equals -x minus 1. So we start down at -1, and then because it's negative, it's -1 over 1, so we go down 1 to the right one, down 1 to the right one, and then up 1 to the left one, and then we can draw our line. And then we have 4x plus y equals 2. So we're going to subtract 4x from both sides to get y equals 2 minus 4x. So we start at positive 2, and then we are going to go down 4 and to the right 1, because remember, 4 over 1. And immediately we get that point of intersection. So we can just go ahead and draw our line. And our point of intersection is 1, -2. Alrighty, and that's how we do graphing. So after this video, if you still need help with graphing, you can either do Delta Math, or I have a bunch of graphing worksheets that might be helpful. Okay. So now we are going to solve each system by substitution. Okay? So first thing we look for when we have substitution is we look for a y equals or an x equals. And immediately we see that we have a y equals. So I'm going to substitute this y into this equation for everywhere I see a y. So we have -4x minus 2, and then we have our y. So I'm going to put -2x minus 14. And then don't forget to finish up your equation, equals 28. Okay, so then we have -4x, and we do -2 times -2x, positive 4x. -2 times -14 gives us positive 28, and it equals 28. So then we have -4x plus 4x will give us 0. So our final answer is 28 equals 28. So when we have a number equal to itself, like 28 equals 28 or 4 equals 4, this is going to be infinite solutions. Alright, so then let's take a look at number 6. Look for your x equals or your y equals. Immediately we see we have a y equals. So we're going to take it and substitute it into this equation. So we have 2x minus 8y, so we're going to substitute in this. For the -3x minus 9 equals -6. So 2x, -8 times -3x will give us positive 24x. -8 times -9 will give us, is that 72? I think that's positive 72. Equals -6. And then we have 2x plus 24x, which will give us 26x. And then we are going to subtract 72 from both sides. And I'm going to move it over here. So we get 26x equals, oops, I shouldn't have done it that far over. That's okay. Equals -78. We're going to divide by 26 on both sides. And I think when I did 9 times 8, I did something wrong. So hold on just a second. Okay, nope, we're good. So then when we divide by 26, we are going to get x equals -3. So then we are going to take that -3, and we're going to substitute it back into this equation in order to solve for our y. Oops, sorry guys, this got all slanty. Okay, so we have y equals -3 times -3 minus 9. So y equals 9 minus 9. so y equals 0. So then our final answer, our coordinate point, is going to be -3, 0. Alrighty. Now we are on to the back page. So for number 7, we have y equals, and we're still using substitution. So when we have y equals and y equals, we are just going to set our two equations equal to each other. So I'm going to have -3 equals -7x minus 10. I am going to add 10 to both sides to get +7 equals -7x. Divide by -7, so x equals -1. Just by looking at the equations, what does y equal? Y equals -3. So then our coordinate point is -1, -3. And we're done with that one. Okay, so then let's take a look at number 8. We have two y equals, so we are going to set our equations equal to each other. So we have -7x minus 15 equals -3x minus 11. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides to get -7x minus 4 equals -3x. I'm going to add 7x to both sides, and then I'm going to move it over here to get -4 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4, so -1 equals x. Then you are going to pick which equation that you want to substitute your -1 into. It does not matter. I'm going to pick the top one. So y equals -7x, which we said was -1, minus 15. So y equals 7 minus 15. Y equals -8. So then our coordinate point is -1, -8. Now let's look at number 9. So number 9 is a little bit different, because if you notice, we do not have an x equals or a y equals. So this time we have to solve for them. So remember, I said this way back, like last week, when we need to solve for one of our letters, pick the letter that does not have a number in front of it. Okay, this x is the only only letter without a number in front of it. So off to the side, we're going to do x minus 2y equals -21. We are going to add 2y to both sides to get x equals 2y minus 21. Okay, so now we can take this x and substitute it into our top equation. So I'm going to have 3 times my x, which is 2y minus 21, minus 6y equals -63. So we're going to get 3 times 2y gives us 6y, minus 63, minus 6y equals -63. 6y minus 6y gives us 0, so -63 equals -63. So we have infinite solutions. Now don't forget that the opposite of infinite solutions is no solutions. So if this was -63 equals 1, then that would be no solution. Alrighty, and now let's take a look at number 10. So we have -3x plus y equals -6, and 6x minus 5y equals 21. If you notice, y is the only one without a number in front of it, so we're going to solve for it. So we have -3x plus y equals -6. I'm going to add 3x to both sides to get y equals 3x minus 6. Okay? Alrighty. So now we are going to take our y and substitute it into our second equation. So we have 6x minus 5 times our y, which is 3x minus 6, equals 21. So we have 6x, negative 5 times 3x gives us negative 15x, plus 30 equals 21. Combine your like terms for negative 9x plus 30 equals 21. Subtract 30 from both sides. So negative 9x equals negative 9, and x equals 1. And then we have one final step. So it does not matter which equation you substitute 1 into, so long as you actually substitute 1 to get your y. I'm going to use our y equals because I think that's always easiest. So I have y equals 3 times 1 minus 6, y equals 3 minus 6, y equals negative 3. So then our coordinate point is going to be 1, negative 3. Okay? All right. Now we have elimination. So first thing we look for in elimination is our letters. Make sure that they are lined up. Then check to see if you have numbers that are the same. 6 and 7 are not the same, but 7 and 7 are the same. So we know we're going to be working with our y first. And then check your signs. We have a negative 7 and a positive 7. Therefore, we can go ahead and add them. So 7x minus 6x will give us x. Negative 7y plus 7y gives us 0. And negative 7. So x equals negative 7. Then we are going to take our negative 7 and substitute it into one of our equations. I'm going to use the top one because I always do. 7 times negative 7 minus 7y equals 0. So we have negative 49 minus 7y equals 0. I'm going to add 49 to both sides. Get negative 7y equals 49. Divide by negative 7. So y equals negative 7. So then our coordinate point is negative 7, negative 7. Okay, let's take a look at 12. So for 12, just looking at our first one, our x's, we have 10 and 10, we have a negative, and we have a positive. So we can go ahead and add. So negative 10 plus 10 will give us 0. 10 plus negative 10 will give us 0. Equals negative 10 plus 10 gives us 0. So we have 0 equals 0, which is infinite solutions. All right. Next, we are going to look at 13. So check out 13. Our y's have the same number, but they also have the same signs. So we need to change our bottom equation so that they have different signs. So essentially what I'm doing is multiplying by negative 1. And so then that is going to be a negative 8x, a positive 3y, equals a positive 21. And so then we can cross out that equation, and then we can go ahead and add them. So negative 6 plus a negative 8 is going to give us a negative 14x. Negative 3y plus 3y is going to give us 0. And then negative 21 plus 21 is going to give us 0. So then we are going to divide by negative 14 on both sides so that x equals 0. Then you're going to pick which equation you want to substitute into. So negative 6 times 0 minus 3y equals negative 21. Negative 6 times 0 will give me 0. So we're left with negative 3y equals negative 21. Divide by negative 3. So y equals, 7. So then our coordinate point is 0, 7. And then we have to do the same thing on 14. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the signs of everything on our bottom row. Because our x's had the same number, but they also had the same signs. So I needed to make this 2 a negative, change this 10 to a positive, and make this 4 a negative. So now we can go ahead and add, which will give us 0 plus 17y equals, which will equal 17. So we are going to divide both sides by 17 to get y equals 1. Then you're going to pick which equation, and you're going to substitute your y into it. So 2x plus 7 times 1 equals 21. 2x plus 7 equals 21. Subtract 7 from both sides, for 2x equals 14. Divide by 2, so x equals 7. So then our coordinate point is 7, 1. Alright. 15 gets a little bit harder. Alright, so if you notice, none of our numbers are the same. 12 and 6 aren't the same, 10 and 3 aren't the same. So we're going to look at our x's, okay? I know that if I multiply 6 by 2, I'm going to get 12. I also know, therefore, we're going to multiply this entire equation by 2. I also know that this 12 is positive, and so I need this one to become negative. So I'm going to multiply by negative 2. So this is going to become negative 12x plus 6y equals negative 24. And then I can just cross that equation out. And now I'm going to add my two equations. So 12x minus 12x is going to give me 0. 10y plus 6y is going to give me negative 4y. And then negative 16 plus negative 24 is going to give me negative 40. Divide by negative 4, so y equals 10. Then I'm going to substitute y equals 10 into my top equation. So 12x minus 10 times 10 equals negative 16. So 12x minus 100 equals negative 16. I'm going to add 100 to both sides to get 12x equals, I think this is supposed to be 84. Yep. Then divide by 12. So x equals 7. So then our coordinate point is going to be 7, 10. Okay. For our next one, we have negative x and a negative 5x. So I know I want to multiply our top equation by 5, but I also want to multiply it by negative 5. Okay? So I'm going to let you guys finish this one up. I'm just going to tell you guys what to multiply by. Okay? Alright, so then for 17, if you take a look, there are multiple ways you can solve this one, but the easiest way to solve it is to look at our y's. We want our y's to be the same number. So you would list out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Multiples of 2. And then for 3, we have 3, 6, 9, etc. Our least common multiple is 6. So we want our y to become 6. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 2. And I'm going to multiply this equation by 3. And since this one is negative and this one is positive, we are just going to multiply by 2 and 3. Okay? Alright, and then for the last one, it's basically the exact same thing, because if you look at our y's, it's 3 and 2 again. So you can multiply by 2 and multiply by 3. Okay? And then the figuring out what to multiply by is the hardest part. So since that has been done, all you have to do now is distribute those numbers and solve for x and y. Alright, and then finally, 19 through 20, you get to solve each question by choosing which method you want to solve by, graphing, substitution, or elimination. So I want you guys to pick which method you prefer, and then you can graph it, you can substitute, or you can eliminate. Now, if you do want to graph, you do have to draw your own graph. Just like this. 4, 5, 5. And then make sure you tell me your scale. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll know what you're talking about. Okay? Alright guys, so 19, actually let's make it 16 through 21 are all on your own. These are what are going to be graded when I enter in grades for your quiz review. Good luck guys.